Asia, America, Arabia, and all over the world. How are you this evening? It's now 20:32 p.m. in Kenya. Actually, I've just come here to do some video for about 40 minutes before I go to my other channel and finish my day. Yesterday, I was a bit lucky to finish early because due at work, I was able to do 2 videos, but today I did not make it. I really appreciate your support and your presence here all the time. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me big time support. All right. Yesterday and up to today, it has been a mourning moment in Kenya. And of course, all of us know quite well that we have lost a very important person. Regardless of the end times, we cannot forget what Raila Odinga did for this country. There is a time we actually mourned, especially at the loss of elections in 2017? We actually felt the pain, and everybody, whoever voted for him, still feels the pain to the core. And that will not even be erased in our minds. I felt for him even as he lost OAU again because I thought, this guy, why should he have been born so unlucky? Can you imagine you stand and endorse another person and they just go and win it? I remember the time Raila Odinga actually endorsed Kibaki, and Kibaki was in a wheelchair, and Kibaki was able to win it. If it was somebody else who was greedy, he would have taken over, but he did not. Anyway, oh yeah, so welcome. I really have to start by appreciating you big time for coming in to support me on my channel. Sometimes you really come, a lot of you, and you sacrifice your time to just come watch what I'm doing, and I can't take that for granted because that presence is a lot. It means a lot to me, all right? And I also appreciate those of you who are subscribing each day and sharing my content. You know, it's a great sacrifice for me. And I know with your support, I'll be going far, and I really appreciate. Yeah, so actually, I don't know. Maplew, Mapo Williams. Mapo Williams 8574, welcome to the channel, and I really appreciate your presence. As I was saying, anybody who comes to watch me, I really honor you. Nakuvulia kofia, cause actually taking your moment to just come and watch what I'm doing means a lot to me. And if you are new, please subscribe to the channel so that in case, and also you press on the notification bell so that in case I post anything else political or a saga that you want to get the gist into it, you get it. I was supposed to do this video a little bit earlier, but I was actually caught up with time because of the many engagements I had during the day. But I appreciate that I've got time to do this. Guys, can you imagine if you have a wife or you have a husband and you've just passed on, and what they are doing is to carry whatever is in the house and pack it, or they are going on to sign some documents just before even your burial is done. Abraham Kikomeko, welcome here. Thank you so much for being the top fan number 2. And I thank you. All right. So, into this saga, I actually wonder why the president should have signed 8 good bills yesterday when people were up and down. You know, the country was in fiasco, people were under siege, and the president went ahead in State House to sign 8 bills into law. Have you taken your moment to ask yourself what bills are this? National Land Commission, all right, Amendment Bill 2023. Land Amendment Bill 2024. Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill 2023, Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Amendment Bill 2024, National Police Service Commission Amendment Bill 2024, Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Bill 2025, Virtual Asset Service Providers Bill 2025, and the Privatization Bill 2025. Those are very fundamental bills that deal with, things that are attached to citizens, okay? Matters land, and we have two bills that have been amended. Two bills. National Land Commission Bill and Land Amendment Bill. Then we have Wildlife Conservation and Management Bill, which almost touches all of us. We have also computer misuse and cyber crimes. Do you know what is in that? You don't know. There is National Police Service Commission Bill. There is Air Passenger Service Charge Bill. We have Virtual Asset Service Provider Bill. And we have Privatization Bill. Guys, those are the specific bills that were passed into law. I actually am taking my time to understand them, and I'll be coming here big time, maybe tomorrow or the other day, to explain each of these bills in detail. That is what happens. During funeral, people are confused, and somebody wants to do anything does during that time. Why would the president have conducted such a process of passing these bills when people are confused? I don't understand. All right? So he said that with his assent, the bills have now become part of the statutes of Kenya. All right? Reinforcing collective commitment to address historical injustices, entrench equity and transparency, accelerate national development and transformation agenda. Guys, I'm just suspicious and curious. Look at those pictures. You've seen those pictures? That is exactly what happened. I don't know if you have an idea about these laws. Do you have any idea? I'm not so sure. But I think one person that has done one of the analysis on this, I don't know, is Lynn Gogi. Who else? I've not seen somebody else doing an analysis. And therefore, that is why I'm promising you that I'll get time maybe tomorrow to just go deep into one bill after the other and make an explanation about what each of them means. What are these amendments? What does it mean to us? Because lack of information is the beginning of a downfall. So people have to understand, but I'm curious, and I don't understand why he would have decided to actually go in and sign the bills yesterday.
Before that, when the news was still going on, well, people were actually now.
Yeah, because the time he signed this, the news about the death of Raila Odinga was still just being absorbed by people. People were crying all over the place, mourning. So in fact, when he released that statement, it was what time? It was yesterday at 10:20 a.m. 10:20 a.m. guys. Do you remember that is the time people are still receiving the information about the death of Raila Odinga? Oh my God, I want to log in and just check what people commented. I don't know whether it will allow. Let me read the comments. The comments are not coming. Anyway, let me just proceed, but I find it so funny that those bills, 8 bills were passed into law, and I've read to you those bills, some of them touching on land, environment, some of them touching on cyber processes, others on Kenya police, and so forth. Anyway, it is what it is. Now we have to go on to the reactions. Of course, not reactions as such, but the aspect about the scenic moments since the arrival of the body of Raila Odinga in the country and up to the time people are actually watching at Kasarani. And the moments were actually touching, if I may say. A lot of people have released songs on Raila Odinga, including myself. Please go to Music Hills channel and check on my songs, 2 of them, and see what I've done right there, because this is a hero that we actually honored a lot. Yeah, so please check on my songs, and I'll really be glad as you also mourn our hero on Music Hills. I hate school. Hey, really? Somebody has written, has a name known as I hate school. YZB. Hey, why do you hate school? YZB, hi. Please subscribe to the channel. Today I'm finding new people. Remember to subscribe to the channel, guys. All right? Yeah. So in the morning, I hate school says it's tiring. Of course, school in general is tiring, but if your school is kind of a school that is dynamic with diverse experiences, let's say you can do dancing, you can do some computers, you can do some acting, you can do some football, you can also have practical lessons. That is why CBE came, competent-based education, where you don't just have to sit in class the whole day, but you have to do a lot of practical stuff, sing, dance. I hate school says I'm an introvert. Yeah, even when you are an introvert, you have your group of friends, okay? Your group of friends who can decide maybe whether you are knitting, whether you are just reading a book, whether you are cooking, whether you are... What else can you do as an introvert anyway? You can also... maybe do some drawing. Yeah, drawing, things like drawing, writing, reading, cooking, they don't need someone to be actually an extrovert. You can do that as an introvert. And also you create a niche of friends who are also like you. And maybe you share some common experiences and all that. And also if you have good teachers who understand how to deal with students with personalities, they can make your environment not that bad, because school is very necessary, even though it's not the only channel to success currently, but at least school can, it's necessary, all right? Yeah. So I wish to entertain you. I hope you'll be entertained or informed, because on Life Saga TV, we actually target to inform while entertaining and critiquing what is happening. So today, actually, there was a mourning moment in Nairobi, which was targeted towards Raila Odinga. And of course, Raila Odinga's body arrived early, of course. And we saw that Winnie, the daughter, was the hurt that all of us know about Raila Odinga and presenting it, okay? Let me just bring something here. Hapana. Mama amekufa aje? Nini imemuua? Breaking news. Nini imefanyika? Mama amekufa. Kwa nini amekufa? Ameachia nani Kenya? Mama amekufa aje? Ameachia nani? Ameachia nani sisi? Lakini nasema haina siri. Yana Mourning Odinga alienda. Tukadhani tumeisha, si ndio? Lakini Raila Amolo Odinga akatoka from nowhere. So that was the morning moment for some of the fans of Raila Odinga, even more here. I hate school saying I have to go. Bye, bye. Yeah, so of course today the body of Raila Odinga had to arrive in the country early, and after arrival, there was a procession, and we saw Winnie actually trying to, this was what happened.
For over 6 hours, thousands of Kenyans tracked it live. Flight KQ-203, a Kenya Airways Dreamliner gliding aircraft broke through the morning haze above Nairobi. Moments later, its wheels kissed the turn in memory of the man whose initials Rao has come to symbolize resilience. Marked Raila Odinga's final return, draped in the national colors.
Where we'll also have so Winnie was actually there carrying the heart.
Kenyan anthem, the East African anthem, after which we'll have a prayer. But just as the ceremony was about to begin, emotion overtook order. A section of mourners gathered near the runway surged forward, waving tree leaves and twigs, chanting freedom songs, and calling out Raila's name. Security officers were caught off guard as the crowd broke through the barricade, sprinting towards the runway, desperate for one last connection with the man who had fought for them for decades. How the country went at standstill yesterday when they heard that Raila had died. Raila was a great person. He fought for this country, at least for democracy. What he fought for, we can see. The only thing I can do now is to appeal to the leadership that one of the things that Raila never saw as one of the things he was fighting for is corruption. If these people who are in leadership or people who are appointed in the positions can make sure that they stop corruption, particularly in the departments where they are, would have made a step ahead.
All right, so a lot of statements were done just not yesterday only, but even today. Even today, a lot of statements were done, actually trying to prove what Raila Odinga has done. Let me just check for some here and share them out. And the reality is that I do not know why some people have turned the entire thing into a chaotic mess, because at Kasarani, actually, we saw people badly booing the president at the same time running left and right, And at some point, we had a lot of tear gas which was released at Kasarani, because people had turned chaotic, and at the end of it, the police had to actually create that situation of tear gas. And I was like, really? This man was an enigma, according to what many people have stated. Okay? Why then should it happen as it has happened? Again, the aspect that he actually had told them that he wants to be buried within 72 hours, but they have added one more day. I wonder why the burial wouldn't have been on Saturday, because if you count 72 hours, it means Saturday was supposed to be the day. So we've seen a lot of people speaking here and there. Let's see this. Gladys Wang. Why did they not take long?
Thank you for turning up for this briefing, which we promised to be doing every day until the matter before us is concluded. The motto remains of our departed leader, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, arrived today, touching down at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at 9:30 a.m. and welcomed tumultuously by thousands of grief-stricken mourners. President William RUTO and former President Uhuru Kenyatta led the family and dignitaries in the solemn state reception. The hearse carrying the remains of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga was escorted from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport all the way to Kasarani Stadium, a nearly 40 kilometers journey by thousands of mourners, arriving there shortly after 2:30 p.m. Upon arrival at Kasarani Stadium, military honors, prayers, and viewing of the body were done in the attendance of President William RUTO, former President Uhuru Kenyatta,
Marcos Njoroge, welcome here.
And the
Hello.
top military command of the country. Number of mourners an opportunity to mourn and pay their last respects to their departed leader. The next briefing will be done tomorrow, Friday 17th of October 2025 at 6:30 p.m. here. And as Kenyans are
Okay, welcome, Marcos Njoroge. Thank you so much for showing up alongside other people who are there. So I'm just checking on Kasarani incident. Of course, very many people booed at RUTO. For whatever cause, there are people who don't believe in natural death. And of course, the death of a leader brings out a lot of emotions among many people. So expect that emotions will loom, and in any funeral, of course, especially where people do not actually had been expecting that in 2027 there would be more to talk about in politics, it becomes a different issue. Now, according to the Luo culture, of course, it was necessary that we have Obura Odinga coming from Nairobi to break the news to the people of Bondo, regardless of them having heard it. Traditionally, it was necessary. And when Obura Odinga went and released that information, people are mourning. Of course, you remember this incident. Let me just show you something from JKIA and what happened, actually. And when you look at Raila Odinga's funeral, it's a very different one from the rest of the leaders. For once, you've seen people striking. Yeah. You've seen striking women, even an Indian. There was one shown there on a camera. And also people with a lot of leaves. The reception of a lot of people from KIA, JKIA.
Nje ya lango kuu la uwanja wa ndege wa kimataifa wa JKIA, maombolezi yao yalifanyika kwa njia ya kipekee. Kuomboleza kiongozi ambaye sifa zake zinatamba zaidi ya mipaka ya bara la Afrika. Na kadri idadi yao ilipoongezeka ndivyo pia azma yao ya kuingia katika uwanja huo ilikuwa. Ila kizuizi kilichokuwepo kwa kilizidi idadi ya maafisa wa usalama waliokuwa ange kuzuia umati huo kuingia katika uwanja wa JKIA. Hata hivyo, pindi tu walipoona ndege iliyokuwa imebeba mwili wa baba ikielekea kutua, hisia nazo zikawapanda na hata wakakaidi amri ya kutoingia uwanjani humo. Moja kwa moja walielekea hadi katika sehemu maalum ambapo ndege iliyokuwa imebeba mwili wa baba iliegeshwa bila kuzingatia itifaki za usalama zilizokuwa zimewekwa. Wengine hata wakachukua fursa hiyo kuabiri ngazi ya ndege hiyo bila kujali usalama wao. Hatua hii ikiathiri mtiririko wa ratiba iliyokuwa mwili huo kupokelewa na Rais William Ruto na mwenzake Rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta pamoja na familia ya mwenda zake. Hali kadhalika, ukiukaji wa itifaki za usalama katika uwanja huo ulilazimu mamlaka ya usimamizi wa viwanja vya ndege KCA kutangaza kuhairishwa kwa shughuli za kusafiri katika uwanja wa JKIA kwa muda hadi usalama kuimarishwa. Hata hivyo,
so of course the mourners of this specific funeral were very rare, with a lot of chaotic movements and eruptions. And I believe this is not just as a result of current, but the entire life that Raila Odinga has lived. He has been there to fight for things. And in a fight, you need to actually be chaotic at some point. And we saw that from 1992 to 2002 up to 2017 and to the recent elections, Raila Odinga has actually had to go through moments which are most chaotic, sometimes even troubling to an extent that he had to sacrifice to go to a place where shots were being done, and he arrives and says, "They blocked me, but I'm here." And all through, we've seen such situations. So this was expected, of course, because they always say that when a man lives by the sword, he dies by it. Now, of course, he had already died, but his funeral will automatically, even at Bondo, we won't expect less than this. Automatically, people will become chaotic. So it's better, the government would better be ready for it. All right. And I was looking at Kasarani also. I was looking at Kasarani, but meanwhile, let's see Winnie giving them the mother the hearts.
Na gwiji aliaga dunia. Grace Ng'ang'a anatupa taarifa hiyo. Wakati ndege iliyobeba kufungwa gerezani na usiku wa upweke uliojaa wasiwasi. Kwa Aida haikuwa tu kipande cha nguo, ilikuwa kumbukumbu, miaka ya kujitolea iliyoshonwa ndani ya kitu kidogo chenye thamani kubwa.
kofia hiyo nyeupe. Aliweka kwa upole juu ya jeneza lake kana kwamba alikuwa akichukua kofia. Sehemu ya uto wa yule mtu waliomfahamu zaidi ya jukwaa na mikutano. Hivyo basi, Raila alipovuta pumzi yake ya mwisho nchini India, Winnie uwepo wake katika kila hatua kuu ya historia ya Kenya, lakini katika kifo chake sasa inawakilisha mwendelezo wa roho yake ndani ya wanawake wanaobeba jina lake, ujasiri wake na ndoto zake. Kwa maana wakati mwingine chombo kimoja tu kinaweza kubeba historia nzima ya mtu, ya familia na ya taifa linalojifunza kusema kwa... All right, so for Raila Odinga, that hat, the white hat, was a representation of him and his energy, his agility, his bravery, his, you know, all that he represented was actually represented by that hat. All right, so let's look at the aspect of what happened at Kasarani. Of course, the chaotic moment. Mohammed Bull 5883. Hi. Yeah, so the reality is that actually we had crowds were flooding at Kasarani, and with thousands of people crowding there and actually mourning with twigs and trees and shouting and not leaving the road, which has been a trend. All right, it has been a trend in all rallies that we've seen during Raila's live moment. People have been actually there to stand with him and support him, receive him, and all that. So actually, this has been a moment that cannot be forgotten in the history of Kenya. I've never seen a leader who has been mourned like this, actually. I've never seen. I've seen Ojoda dying. I've seen President Moi. I've seen President Kibaki. But I've never seen such a funeral attended by so many people in the open, and at the same time they are mourning while actually shouting like this. Some of them even removing their clothes. This is something I'll not forget. Now, Babu Owino actually came up to speak, and while mourning, he said that there is no moment he's going to actually work against the legacy of Raila Odinga, because he believes in him. He was his friend. He spoke to him all the time. Sifuna also did the same, and we saw him mourning a lot on camera while going to India, Mumbai. So a lot will be said, a lot will be discussed, but it remains that this is a unique kind of person. He has lived in battles, and actually battles have still shown up in his funeral. So I think I need to end here, and I'll be doing another reaction or live stream tomorrow. Bye bye. I appreciate Mohammed Bull 5883, Marcos Njoroge, I Hate School YZB, Abraham Kikomeko, Mapo Williams, Abraham Kikomeko, and everybody else who watched. Thank you so much. God bless.